Hello and welcome to 3 Minute Gaming. I'm Nathan, and today I'm going to tell you if this game's worth your time and bandwidth. Today's game is Dino Crisis. Capcom's cult PS1 horror series makes a return on PS Plus. Was it worth waiting, or should it have gone extinct? Let's find out. Dino Crisis is a 1999 survival horror game from Capcom during the heyday of this genre, with Dino Crisis focusing less on spooks and more on some absolute B-movie action schlock. You are Regina, extremely red-haired special agent who, with a team of operatives, is sent to a secret lab to find a scientist. Before long, however, the core team gets split up and or eaten by a variety of rampaging dinosaurs. And if this sounds like the plot to Resident Evil just with dinosaurs, yeah, it kind of is. Gameplay is essentially identical to Resident Evil, just with a few wrinkles. You have the usual tank controls and limited inventory, and you're expected to use a map to explore a large facility, planning routes around avoiding hallways with deadly dinosaurs. The big difference is that, unlike zombies, the dinosaurs are fast and extremely dangerous. They can also sometimes move between rooms, catching you off guard, and are very difficult to take down, which means you'll often be dodging rather than fighting. There's a handful of other changes as well. The first is inventory and storage, where rather than a persistent save box, there's instead emergency boxes across the lab that, once you unlock them, contain supplies as well as can be used for storage, though they don't share inventory, so you'll have to make a trip back if you drop something good off. The second is the keys and puzzles, with Dino Crisis going way overboard with how many keys and keycard puzzles it requires, with some of those DDK doors requiring both a keycard and a cipher to unlock. It's a bit much. All of this is presented in 3D rather than the pre-rendered backdrops of other games, though it still uses fixed camera angles within that 3D environment for some dynamic pans. A final addition is the danger moments, where basically you're put in a perilous predicament and have to mash buttons or else you'll get instantly killed. These moments were very frustrating when I played them back on original hardware, but with the advent of rewind and save states, they're much more manageable. And really, that's Dino Crisis. Very much a Resident Evil clone in many ways, and while the series hadn't just yet made its jump to action, this one is still definitely invested in being camp. What I like about Dino Crisis 1? Well, I forgot how gloriously campy this game is, with Regina spitting one-liners in response to any serious situation, and the whole story about time-traveling dinosaurs absolutely delightful in its B-movie vibe. Additionally, the switch from pre-rendered to semi-fixed 3D works wonders here, making it feel a bit more Silent Hill than Resident Evil, and allowing for some fantastic camera angles and larger, more dynamic environments. And lastly, this is just classic Capcom survival horror, which if you're nostalgic for it, you will love it. You got tank controls, route planning through interesting environments, and plenty of tense moments to make each playthrough a treat. Plus, the multiple endings and multiple ending unlocks highly encourage replays. When it comes to the bad, the one thing I remember most about this game from my playthrough nearly 2 decades ago was how BS the puzzles are. And despite 20 years of getting smarter, I still think they are very obnoxious. More than a few are trial and error, and don't even get me started on those disk drive puzzles that pop up all over the place. Additionally, inventory management is also frustratingly bizarre. As mentioned, there are item boxes in specific locations, but they require other items to unlock them, and inventory across pretty much everything is surprisingly limited, storage or otherwise. At least key items don't take up regular inventory space. And lastly, the PS5 version is, at the time of this review, locked to PlayStation Plus Premium only, meaning you can't buy it, which is not only complete nonsense, it's horrible for game preservation. Capcom, why? As you know, I rate games here on a 3-point scale: must play, maybe consider, and don't bother. And Dino Crisis has all the staples of classic Capcom horror, for better or worse. Its camp is incredibly endearing, the split pathways encourage multiple replays, and PS1 dinosaurs make me happy. The issues I have with it are honestly identical to the ones I had when I first played it, way back on the PS1. Unfair puzzles, and jank around inventory management. That being said, it still holds up quite well today. So if you enjoyed this era of tank controls, route planning horror, and somehow didn't play Dino Crisis in the early 2000s, you should definitely get on that before Capcom makes this series extinct again. That's all I have for you today. Thank you so much for watching. Have you played Dino Crisis? Are you one of the many that are super excited to see this series finally re-released? Please let me know what you think in the comments, but regardless, go out there, give Dino Crisis a look.